really grateful for the healing power of this. But before that, we have a song, a recorded song. Um, it's called A Song for Gaza. And as you listen to this, whether you're in person or online, just bear in mind Matthew Hart, who wrote this song and performed it and recorded it, did so. As you watch this, as you listen to this, um, it was 15 years ago that this song was published.
A blinding flash of white light lit up the sky over Gaza tonight. People running for cover, not knowing whether they're dead or alive. They came with their tanks and their planes, with ravaging fiery flames, and nothing remains, just a voice rising up in the smoky haze. We will not go down in the night without a fight. You can burn up our mosques and our homes and our schools, but our spirit will never die. We will not go down in Gaza tonight. Women and children alike, murdered and massacred night after night, while the so-called leaders of countries afar debated on who's wrong or right. But their powerless words were in vain, and the bombs fell down like acid rain. But through the tears and the blood and the pain, you could still hear that voice through the smoky haze. We will not go down in the night without a fight. You can burn up our mosques and our homes and our schools, but our spirit will never die. We will not go down in Gaza tonight. Spirit will never die. We will not go down in the night without a fight. We will not go down in Gaza tonight.
This video reminds us today that even though you may be cast out of your friend group or your biological family or your workplace because of your stance against genocide, that you are beloved here and that you are uplifted here, and that we are joining millions of people across the world that believe in the freedom of Palestine. And I thank you all also for your prayers for my mother. She got out of surgery, and they were able to find the source of the bleeding and cauterize it. So I just thank you so much. And I also am praying for the mothers of Palestine, and hoping that they also have life today and tomorrow and long lives. And let's remember that today is the last day of Pride Month. And let's just try to always be safe havens for our queer sisters and brothers, and know that I think a lot of us believe this, that sexuality is a spectrum, right? So a lot of this division is fake. So just want to thank you a lot for being here today and for calling me your sister.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ana Rosa. In the same spirit, we dedicate this time in our singing to the hope of Palestinians. Sing with me. You call me out upon the water, great unknown. Living water, I called and you came and you knew what I need. Living water, you drenched my thirsty soul. Living water, you're not just enough, you were more than I longed for. I'm so grateful for prophets on the stars on the ground, tears falling from the clouds. You heard my cry. You had to come. You could not make me cry. as strong as the Creator's love. This is how we just sing this really soft. It may look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you. It may look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you. One more time. It may look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you. Yeah. Oh God. Living love. The energy we need, the strength we need, the power we need, the power of love, the grace, the wonder, the mystery, the goodness, the succulence. We receive you, receive your goodness, and we are revived, we are restored. Well, everybody, Diane Fox has a reading for us, so let's watch and listen and speak.
The reading is from the book of Luke. During their meal, the disciples were debating, which one of us is the most faithful, the most important?
Apparently it's not on there yet. So.
What does it look like?
Ego always steps into that.
We'll see.
Important.
It has this thing.
Yes, yeah, announcements.
This is all announcements?
Yeah.
Not in there?
No.
Okay.
I just see the announcements.
Keep going. That's it?
That's it.
Okay. Don't know what happened. Just read it.
Go ahead and read it. Jesus interrupted. The authority figures among the nations play this game, flexing their muscles in competition for power over one another, masking their quest for domination behind words like benefactor or public servant. But you must not indulge in this charade. Instead, among you, the greatest must become like the youngest, and the leader must become a true servant. The disciples replied, but who is the greatest right here as we eat this meal? Those of us who sit at table, or those who serve us? Jesus replies, doesn't everyone normally assume those who are served are greater than those who serve? But consider my role among you. I have been with you as a servant. You have stood beside me faithfully through all my trials. I give you a realm, but as the Father has given me a realm. On to the announcements.
Good morning. It is June 30th. We are almost to July already. Today we honor our queer siblings during this month especially. Today our message is, what is your heart telling you to do about the future? I don't know if that's tomorrow or 10 years from now, but we'll see what happens. This Wednesday we're going to be going back to our 7 p.m. start. Also, if you'd like to log in a little bit early, we're going to be doing a little meditating at early. Also, we have a few activities coming up this summer. We do have a music activity. There's going to be a free concert that we're going to be attending. If you're interested, it's going to be at the Harbor View Park off of Harbor Boulevard in Oxnard. It's a free concert. It'll be on July 20th, which is actually my anniversary, but my husband said it's okay because they're playing funk and blues, so yay. So it is going to be going from 4 to 6. We'll probably arrive around 3 just to get a spot, and put out a few blankets if we can do that. So if you'd like to join us and help us with that, that'd be great. So bring blankets, chairs, umbrellas, comfy snacks, anything to make yourself comfy, and we're going to hang out and dance and sing, so it should be a good time. Then we do have our regular service at the end of that month, which we will, as far as in person for July, and that will be another potluck, which we'll be talking about later. And then in August, at the end of August on the 25th, I did book our favorite spot at Tucker's Grove Park. So we'll be having hamburgers. If you guys want to bring the sides, we'll provide the hamburgers for that. So a few activities this summer to enjoy the nice weather. Next Sunday, we'll be back on Zoom only. Also, we really appreciate your contributions and your sensitivity. Sorry, my grandson has a basket over his head. Okay. As usual, we will close with the service with communion, so if you'd like to get ready for that. Today's quote comes from James Baldwin. Life is tragic simply because the earth turns and the sun inexorably rises and sets. And one day, for each of us, the sun will go down for the last time. Perhaps the whole root of our trouble, the human trouble, is that we will sacrifice all the beauty of our lives. We'll imprison ourselves in totems, taboos, crosses, blood sacrifices, steeples, mosques, races, armies, flags, nations, in order to deny the fact of death, which is the only fact we have. Welcome.
Well, before we have today's discussion, take a moment and go say hello to somebody that you haven't said hello to. Yeah.
Okay.
Matt, can you close PowerPoint? What do we have on the screen?
That's fine. Sounds like the audio's still coming from the computer.
That's what they're doing last week. So, yeah. We went out the other way. It didn't sound right. And I took it out and kind of run straight to the computer. So, more clear than just the mics.
Yeah. I'm thinking that there's some way I can get like a wireless mic so that we can place it in this general area so we can hear David and
Oh yeah.
a
I
little
have a
better.
compression mic that's pretty wide. You could set up a mixer. Test it.
I'll look into that.
I'm gonna catch his name.
Yeah.
Probably better in business. Right on the stream. Maybe next time.
so I was just kind of like, I'm on break this month from school, so that was helpful. But I was like,
That's great. Get people back the battery capacity of work.
Like, I did the episodes that I was doing, and the energy was a lot of energy to it. And
It's actually 1, 2, 3.
I felt like it was too much energy. Like, doing training, find out what this might be. Keep trusting. Not that I like want to get there, but I'm just like, how do I don't know, I'm just having some moments lately.
Highly recommend it. Vida Flores, which is like right next to
I hate to break up everybody's fun. So, before I finish, I am going to read an excerpt from Brian McLaren's most recent book, the title of which is Life After Doom. And so I will share the challenge, that an excerpt from that book a little later. But first, if you would, everybody, just take a breath and become present with yourself. Take another one and release. Now this time, as you're breathing, I would like for you, if you would, to call up a childhood desire or dream. Something that you saw as perhaps a place that you would be, or something you would do when you became an adult, when you became mature. All right, now take that breath and slowly release. Okay, so what did you want to fulfill? Anybody, did anything surface in anybody's heart? What you anticipated that you would you would do or you would like to do? Anybody?
I wanted to travel around Africa and be a herpetologist,
And be a herpetologist.
which is reptiles and amphibians.
Wow. I saw a hand over here. Brigitte.
I wanted to be an astronaut.
Nice. Who else?
I wanted to be part of a warm, close, steady, calm, predictable family.
Ah, warm, close, stable, predictable family. Astronaut, herpetologist. Sally?
Well, I wanted to be a trauma surgeon, but that wasn't what came up for me. It was, I'd have this compound where all of my family each had their own house, far enough away that we could hear each other, but you could walk over and visit every day, but we all close together.
What a dream. Yeah. Anybody else? Ana Rosa.
So it's just this memory of being joyous and playing without feeling guilty about it and like worrying that I'm not doing enough. Because I feel like as an adult, even when I'm having fun, I'm thinking of the things that I should be doing for the world and the community. So I miss just being able to have fun.
Just have fun. Somebody back there is just having fun. Okay. Well, for me, and I hope as I share this that will help you affirm who you are and your identity, recognize, re-recognize, refresh. When I was pretty young, I knew that music was a big part of why I existed, and I had this yearning to listen to music, to appreciate music, but not only that, to create, to do like, that song "Living Water" is a song that I wrote some years ago. To perform, to dance. When I was at UC San Diego, I was part of the modern dance program. Before that, when I was in high school, I was part of the original Soul Train gang. So I knew this was a big part of life for me. The music that I listened to, I listened to many different kinds of popular music for the most part, and I loved voices. I loved the voice of Karen Carpenter. Yeah. I just, I could put on an LP in my bedroom at my parents' house and just listen. I listened to many kinds of music, but the music I listened to the very most was Motown. And I would look at the credits. Remember when you had to have super good eyes to read the credits? But anyway, here's what I noticed. Here's what stood out to me. When I looked at those records and I looked at those names, and I loved the Jackson 5, and I loved Marvin Gaye, and I loved Diana Ross and the Supremes and the Temptations, all of them. But there was one name that stood out to me more than all of them, and that was Berry Gordy Jr. And somehow when I was like a high school freshman looking at these records, I thought I would become a Berry Gordy Jr. I didn't know what he looked like. I didn't know who he was, but just because his name was as producer, and I knew a little bit about him. So I wanted to be Berry Gordy. I even had pictures in my mind of me in a big office with a huge desk, because that's how I pictured Berry Gordy's office, with a big desk, and my feet on the desk. And here's why I love Berry Gordy Jr. He was able to discover people. Think about this. In what they called Hitsville, in Detroit, in a single neighborhood, within walking distance, Stevie Wonder lived. Diana Ross lived. Marvin Gaye lived. I mean, these people lived within walking distance. Now, I think the magic was in Berry Gordy Jr. to be able to recognize people in a single neighborhood. Because how does that happen? That all of these superstars whose voices, pretty much everybody here, if you heard them sing, you would recognize the voice and say, oh yeah, that's Diana Ross. And so, you know, I that was, you know, as a high schooler, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be Berry Gordy Jr. And then, it wasn't until a couple of weeks ago, I noticed that I am Berry Gordy Jr. and have been throughout my adult life. What do I mean? I've been able to connect with people's voices. Not necessarily singing, but I hear people. And I want to recognize people. I want to elevate people who I think have something to say. And you know, it didn't just start happening over Zoom since the pandemic. I mean, that's why Matt Lowe is here. I mean, I had a conversation with him and I said, dude, you should come preach at our church. Caroline Grieven has spoken to us as much as anybody. She, you know, moved a few weeks ago. She didn't even go to church. But we met. We had coffee when my book was going to come out, and we had a conversation. One thing led to another. And this didn't start happening recently. I can remember, of course, I think Sally will probably remember, but I don't know anybody else besides Diane and myself, because this was decades ago. But I remember we had our little church building overflowing with young people, and I remember we hosted people like Festo Kivinje and his traveling partner. Festo was a freedom fighter in South Africa. Someone called him a terrorist. And he was visiting the U.S., touring the United States, with a friend who he had at one time been in combat against, who was part of the South African police. But apartheid ended and their lives changed. They became friends and they traveled together. So basically, his friend would introduce him. And I kid you not, Festo came to our church here in Santa Barbara on a Sunday night, and he spoke for 3 hours without a break. Nobody moved. Nobody went to the restroom as he opened up and told his story. And that's just one example of, we've always been able to somehow bring in people to make ourselves more complete, but also to inspire and encourage them. So, you can call me Berry Gordy Jr. Because I will continue to the third. Yeah, he's doing so. Because I love hearing voices and elevating voices. And I thought, you know what? In a way, even though the specifics were not manifested to me, I was identifying who I was way back then. And even when I returned to church after, going to church, leaving home, I didn't go to church, it was mandatory in our household. I didn't go, and then while I was in college, when I went back, I remember we would have, in our little church in La Colonia in Oxnard, we would have, after Sundays, adult classes and all ages, we had Sunday school, and then we would come in and we'd have a conversation led by our pastor. And I remember that as we got in conversation, my pastor was so, I guess the word would be impressed, but so taken with my contribution. He said, and he said it more than once, but I remember the first time he said it. He said, that young man is going to be a bishop one day. I was like 19. And I knew when he said it that I would not be a bishop someday. It was like, I was too respectful to like go up to him and say, I don't think that's me. But I knew me. Even though I didn't know much about church, I didn't know much about the world, I knew that I was not cut out to be a bishop. I knew I was the kind of guy that would ask questions of bishops, even at age 19. Not out of disrespect, but out of a spirit of inquiry and sometimes challenge. Now, as I got older, into my 20s and into my 30s, I got invitations to speak at churches, and some of the churches were enormous. And only Diane knows this, but one time I spoke at a church that had like over 20,000 people, and the pastor and I had a conversation. And basically, he was telling me that he wanted me to be his successor. And as we had that conversation, I knew right away I would not be his successor. Because that just wasn't me. I just had I had this capacious vision to not be limited by anything and to include everyone. I didn't even know what that meant at the time. But I just wanted to be a part of everything. Yeah. So, there's music. It gets my attention. It gets your attention too in different ways. Yeah, I know. But I challenge you to find out how you have become an astronaut. How you have traversed Africa and figured out the reptiles and the animals. Find out, what does that mean? Why was that in your heart? And what does it mean for your next steps? One of the things that I've learned from teachers, people who have been guides to me, is that there's something better than goals. Better than knowing your goals is to know your path. Be aware of where you are and what it is right now. And if something needs to be changed right now, instead of looking way down the road, look at right now. And make sure you are in the path. I'm not suggesting at all that you're not there. But the path that you are on, recognize it. Rejoice over it. Be grateful for the path. Because this path brings you to limitless possibilities. Just being aware of it makes that even more so the case. Because you're not going to stray from it. Be on your path. Love your path. the path you are on right now, love it. Be grateful for it. Praise God for it. Celebrate yourself for it. Thank God that you have come to where you are. You're not on the path behind you, you're on the path now. And this path is going to take you, who knows where? Who knows where? Where are you headed? All right, so let me share this from Brian McLaren. Life After Doom. Imagine collapse / extinction. Imagine that they become as inevitable as the incoming asteroid at the end of the movie Don't Look Up. Maybe you didn't see it, maybe you saw it, okay. Imagine that in 5, 25, 75, or 250 years, our centuries of ecological overshoot will catch up with us. Imagine that sea levels rise and that forests burn and crops fail and vast parts of the earth become uninhabitable because of heat. Imagine that refugees flee, markets fail, and nations go to war over the last fossil fuels. Imagine that two small men in expensive suits simultaneously press red buttons on opposite sides of the world, and within minutes, nuclear bombs fall on 100 cities in both hemispheres. Imagine that the wind carries a mushroom cloud that rains deadly radiation across the land. Imagine the cloud drifts toward a city where people you dearly love are living. And now imagine that they have 24 hours before the cloud reaches them. Obviously, it is too late for them to organize an anti-nuclear weapons rally or do anything else to avert the inevitable. So how would you want them to spend those last 24 hours? On their last day on Earth, would you want them to go out in a blaze of gunfire, venting their rage on every living thing? Would you want parents to curl up into a ball of catatonic agony or drink themselves into oblivion, leaving their children to die alone in terror? Or would you want people you love to be as brave and good and kind to each other as they possibly could on the last day of the world? Would you want a young mother to sit at a table with her child and fill page after page with brightly colored paintings? Would you want a young boy to play with his dog, to throw a stick and take a walk and tell him what a good dog he is and how much he loves him? Would you want a little girl to invite her friends out into the field and play ball and tell jokes and make their last day a good day? Would you want neighbors to come out into the street and thank one another for being good neighbors? Would you want the family to cook and share their favorite foods for their last meal together at dinner and maybe plant a tree in the backyard at sunset? Late that night, would you want this family to hold one another tight and tell each other how much they love each other, and maybe even pray together in gratitude for every moment of life they have shared together? Would you want them to make their last day a day they really lived? Would you see the way they spent their last day in that horrible situation as an expression of wisdom and courage? Would you consider their last day lived in that way a marvelous victory? Or would you say it didn't matter, that it was meaningless because they were going to die anyway? Isn't everyone going to die anyway, sooner or later? This thought experiment helps me understand that there is a motivation that goes deeper than hope as commonly understood. This hope against hope inspires energy to act when all hope for a good outcome is gone. This hope against hope inspires energy to act when all hope for a good outcome is gone. One more time. This hope against hope inspires the energy to act when all hope for a good outcome is gone. And this is where I ask you to revisit your body, your own being. You have experienced so much change, much of it you never imagined. You've encountered challenges. You've encountered perhaps economic challenges. You've encountered health challenges, family challenges, employment challenges, life challenges, aging challenges. And yet, you have continued to hope against hope. And this hope against hope continues to fuel your fire for being with dignity, for being with purpose, for being with hope against hope. It is who we are as a species. And even though not all of our species represents this very well at all, and some seem to fight against it, it is who they are. Their true self, their higher self. This is who they are. They are people who were created to hope against hope, so that it would inspire them, so that even if there is no promise, no assurance of a positive outcome, you live. You live. In the words of Jesus, I have come, I'm paraphrasing, I've come to remind you that you're worth it, that your life is worth it. I have come so that you could live life to the full. I have come so that your joy would be complete. He says this to people at the bottom of life's totem pole, of societal totem poles. He said, I've come to remind you that you are, in the words of Jesse Jackson, somebody, that you are somebody. I've come to remind you of this. And if you are somebody, no matter what is going on around you, within you, close or far away, in your neighborhood or in another hemisphere, your life is worth it. You are worth it. And your hope is worth it. So I bless your hope. Who am I to bless your hope? I am your fellow. I am one of you. I am you. I am here to echo the call from your own heart. I'm here to echo the call from your heart that is saying, oh yeah, I am somebody. I am worth it. It is worth hoping. It matters that I continue to hope. And we need to hear one another say that. We need to hear one another say, you've got to keep going. You've got to keep hoping. So, the question is, what's my heart saying? If I can't see the goals, if I can't see the outcome, what is my heart telling me about the future? And that's the question that I open the floor to. But before that, at your table, this table only has two, so we need one more. Darla, Tanya, all right, to join this table. But at your table, just take a moment and take off any residual burden of embarrassment or shame or anything like that. In your heart, let me just say, and don't be afraid of letting go. You know, this is a primary principle of Buddhism, but it's a principle of life. Letting go. You know, in what ways does your heart tell you to let go and not cling, to embrace impermanence, to embrace uncertainty? All right? So, what is your heart telling you in terms of possibilities, even hoping against hope? But go ahead, just have that conversation for a couple of minutes, you know, with people that are nearby. All right? Experience. Come on in.
How are you, man?
Yeah. So I've come to a place where geographically I feel like I've experienced fulfillment, maybe even completion. When I go outside at our house and I look, I mean, the yard, the plants, basically, for the most part, front yard, backyard, they reflect me, you know? I mean, we have a gardener who comes in and cleans up, but...
Everything's where you want it to be?
Yeah, but I planted the plants for the most part, most of them, you know, those succulents and all that stuff. And over the years, it's blossomed, and I feel like, okay, I'm satisfied with this. I don't have nothing
My
else.
wife did that to our one house, and I just took pictures around everywhere. She made it special, you know. She got a little thing everywhere.
Okay.
And that's what you should do too. You should say hi to your plants. You know?
I do,
Take
but
portraits
I
of
am
them.
gonna
You
take-
know what I'm saying? Because I like.
That's a good time. No, seriously.
I've done that with the Boulder Go. You should see all my work. It's all about. Anyway, I like what you said today. Yes, and absolutely, Barry Gordy. I know, Daddy. Me too.
All right.
I'm still doing it. We got Music Sausage Factory in Art City in Ventura. I got a little.
Still
and I need to talk to you.
I'm still gonna meet you. One of these days, we're gonna go over to the restaurant.
Well, you got to come down to Art City and see what we got going there. We got a whole. It's a whole world. And we need a minister, and I've already gotten permission to have a pastor come down and take a look and make a.
All right.
If you want to bring a, you know, and well, see, I'm at that place, right? Because here I am. I wanted to just play in a black church when I was growing up. All I had to do is answer Craigslist, Dad, and I got my deal. You know? Shit, man. And that's how it's coming to me. You know, it's just pouring in. So this little thing, just like we do here, we can be live across the country now. And you're talking to people that we, like, they're sitting in their living rooms right now trying to get to figure out how to deal with the heat. And they come out here and get some cool breeze from what you're talking about. But it came to me today. We're here to show people the way to the lifeboat of eternal life. Because once you know you're in this thing just for, so you know, you're just here to play, man. So once you're in that shit, because that's real chemistry. How we chemicalize the brain. We're basically changing the chemistry of the brain, going from negative to positive.
We are alchemists.
Polarity, puntingo, and now if you really know what you're doing, you can just pull stuff like this. That's why I asked you the other day when I met you for the first time, how big can you go, baby? And you said, well, you know, this is how big. You know, I'm like, fuck, dude, I got 10 of these.
Right.
How about 100? You know, let's go bigger.
Did you get one for my grandson?
Not yet. No, I figured it's, you know, there's 10%. Go get your own. Pick your own damn thing, you know.
So what about you? What's your heart doing?
My heart is telling me to take the time to figure out
right.
We don't know what's going to happen except in the future. Right? Just tomorrow.
Now.
Take each moment.
Just do the best with it, right? Like, do what you can. You know, well, that's cause and effect. See, if you do that, if you use this law of correspondence, which is what you're talking about, everything's happening now. Nothing. It's always like we're always looking backwards. We're going so fast, we can only see what just happened. You know, but if you see back, you know, exactly.
I am gonna take pictures because it's, yeah, and I feel, you know, I don't feel like I need to do anything else, really. I mean, major in terms of like, I'm talking about the garden now. It has my imprint, but I've used the garden, but I'm saying that about my life. I'm saying that I'm at a place now where you're talking about paying attention to now, where I should take pictures of me, really. I mean, of life. Just
yeah.
That's why I asked you to do those Mondays.
Oh yeah.
So basically,
I do a thing on Instagram with this help.
Basically, sending out a message.
It'll always be there.
That's why you basically,
yeah.
Well, I just call it B-roll. It's the before roll. You can't go back and get before roll. You gotta get before the shit happens. You gotta make it. That's what you're doing. And now here's one fun thing about Princey and Barry Gordy. See, this is the thing. Prince, once he got into the vault stage, vaulting stuff, like just storing it.
He's still got stuff
out. Like he's got stuff in the vault that we don't even have even. I can't even imagine how that's talked about in things. But what we do is we vault stuff.
2 minutes.
So this is how we know we're onto something. This is the patterns that successful people do. They create things and then you put it away because you never know. And then for me, I got stuff. I love it. It works good. This is so good. B-rolling. Now, I was going to say the last thing is the only time that thing on Macintosh to do an actual book where you have them print the book and send it back to you is when you take pictures of your garden. You want to put that on the bookshelf for the kids, because they won't be able to see a movie because the technology will be changed. You know, they won't be able to see that stuff. But a book.
The goal is to create basically a database so that all collected some different pictures and we put those positive without the dark side, unless that's what you're
Even the day that's not our topic though.
See, that is exactly what you see. There was a situation where my wife was in a horrible situation. She was driving down the road and a tree hit her car while she was driving. It just barely hit the back of her, like she was not hurt. And I went about taking pictures because we ended up getting the whole thing replaced, you know, of course, because insurance. But she literally, I was driving just like this, and the tree hit right behind on a Volkswagen convertible with nothing there. Okay, air hit nothing. And then I thought about this, and she's this kind of person. It's like, well, should we keep those pictures of that accident? And those said, no. Let's just fucking forget that shit ever happened. You know, what the fuck? That's one little thing we will just erase. Like, she wasn't hurt, the car was replaced. It was shocking, but no harm, no foul.
You know, that's important. I had a conversation about a month ago, somebody whose brother 10 years ago wrote her a really nasty letter. And now she gets along with that brother well, but she still had the letter. And I asked, well, why are you keeping that energy? You know, you're getting along fine now. You're going to use that against them at a later date? And she said, oh yeah, I should toss it. So.
That's a huge deal. That is a walk through to the next. That is how it feels. It came to me in a real strong voice the other day.
I got to wrap up.
Yeah, last thing I'll tell you, it's like walking through a door. That's it. Super, not a big deal. The whole thing, you're like walking through a door. Not even in pain. Anyway. There you go. You can do that. It's your house. Hey Matt, do you do websites?
I have before, I've never done it before, you know, but it's not, I think now it's probably a lot easier to create, you know.
Well, I need a
Back in the day I was doing WordPress, but now you can use,
when you use them.
There's a billion creator websites now that really simplify it now.
Artificial, like AI stuff?
Not really AI, it's just, they just simplified it. Like back in the day, you had to write code and you had to do all these other things. Now you kind of just, if you want a YouTube video here, you copy and paste it.
Yeah, all right.
Link, you know, like you simplify it. I mean, just think of Google. Build a website. The top site is usually.
I gotta redo it, man. I got a website.
You have a website.
I got a thing. I don't know how to handle it. I'm just lost, man. Pretty simple, but I don't know. I want to use it to benefit what we're doing here. See if we can figure out a way.
Well, you can send. Yeah, you just email me.
Yeah, if you, I'll give you my stuff. If you can email, I'll respond to you. Oh, so I'm a the Holer's builder, and I spell it differently. So.
Yeah, I was a fixation. Exactly.
Good. I would love to just chat with you.
You can kind of predict when you're going to go at that point. You know, like, ah, yeah, it's about time. Same water, isn't it? Clean up your water.
I just set myself in.
All right. So, just like,
You want that blurry?
so, spit it out.
Everybody at once, or what?
Yeah, anybody. Anybody. Maybe we'll start with somebody on Zoom. Caroline's on.
Hi.
Hey, what's up, Caroline?
Everything's good. Got some sunny, rainy New York going on here. I don't think I even answered the question in my breakout group. So, what was the question we were meant to be ruminating on?
What is your heart telling you to do about the future?
Have hope. I think everything you said really resonated with me, but just have hope when sometimes hope seems impossible. I don't know. Every day feels like an act of hope for me. And that's, I don't know. I think that's what I'm doing.
Thank you. Somebody here.
So our table, pretty much agreed that we don't want to focus too much on the future, because that can feel, can make us worry. But trying to be present and ready, because you never know what's going to happen on any given day or any given moment, so things might change rapidly, but having hope in that God has a plan. That's, so to sort of be in the here and now, open to whatever might come and however we might need to participate, and trust that God is doing something.
So, trust that God is doing something. Just basically, that's kind of, Matt, that's what you were saying. And would you come up and just, Matt, in the mic?
No.
You were talking about now.
I was just saying that this moment that we have now is never going to happen again. Like, it's a flash, and we collect these memories, and that's really all we have is memories. So, savor them. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Leslie. You know what, Leslie, come on.
No.
Because I don't think people even got to hear what Ruth was sharing, as valuable as it was, on Zoom.
Go for it.
talking about all the troubles in the world and all the sadness and trauma happening. And I was saying that if I could go back in time, like, or more like if I was younger, I might take an active role in trying to fight more for what's right. And being the age I am and where I am now, and I work with people with serious mental illness, and my goal with them is always to bring them back to the moment and to help them with mindfulness and trying to achieve peace of mind. And if we, we do what we can do, because that's the right thing to do, but then also try to live in the moment, like Matt said, and help each other, maybe help each other with that peace of mind also.
Thank you.
Is that it?
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. Yes, yes.
I'll say something.
Come on, Matt.
Because based on what Matt said, hello, and then that was the thing, is based on what Matt said, this is the now. It's everything is like that. This is part of the law that we are involved with in this thing. So it's only in our imagination that we're able to actually go back and forward and sideways and whatever we want to do. So if we can do that, that's a lot of power. So the thing that we can also do, which we discovered in our meeting, is that we can go back and edit some stuff too. Just because something bad happened that one time, does that always mean it's gonna happen? Now, we would all throw our lot in with the faith that that bad thing will happen again. But we would throw our lot in with the faith that something good will happen again? And something keeps happening again? And how do we get something from bad to good? Again, it's through the chemistry in our brain. If we can turn the worst, Julian Assange was just released from the most torturous
Yes.
we can possibly imagine.
Yes.
Being isolated and left alone is the most tormenting thing you could possibly do. Our buddy Nelson Mandela showed us 27 years. Never lost his cool is the myth that we want to hold on to. Can we even take 1 second of that? But here's the point. It's all happening now. There's another law that I'm just excited about. This one called cause and effect. The cause and effect. A few kind words. Dang!
Butterfly. All right. How about this table? All right. Hello.
Play is important. We gotta play. There's that was one thing that just stuck with me. There's not really a creative way to say it. But something that was speaking to me was before we have to play, we have to be willing to die. And I think I'm thinking of that James Baldwin quote. If you all remember that, like a lot of people hold to religions, to flags, to whatever they're holding to mosques, to churches, because they're unwilling to face death. And so, and I think of the Brian McLaren book, The Doom.
Life After Doom.
Life After Doom. That scenario that he's playing, that 24 hours, like the way we excel in that 24 hours is accepting death, accepting that it's going to happen. Because if we're not accepting it, you're running around trying to beat up against, like you're coming up against, dead end after dead end, just crazy chaos. And if you accept it, then you're like, then you're in the now, then you're in the play, then you're in the moment. And I have to say that there's some things in our country that are unwilling to die right now. And I think you might kind of get what I'm leaning towards after some experiences this week. And I remember there's this speaker, Elisa Garza. I heard her speak once, and she talked about how with whiteness, there's a sense of amnesia to it, and a sense of not remembering, a sense of kind of being stuck in the past or not wanting to die, but we have to be okay with it because people want to be stuck in the past. And if we're in the now, then we are willing to die. because then we can play. Then we can accept the now and see the joy of the things around us and take action for the things that are blocking that play to happen and that joy to be experienced by everybody. So take action, hope, and be welcoming to death.
You kind of
All right.
good.
I can take that.
Run for president, Matt.
Give me a campaign manager.
Well, he's not old enough.
Next year.
He needs like 60 more years.
So that's you.
That's me. Wow. Anybody over here? John?
Yeah. Right on, man.
John said he's been looking for us. He used to come to our church when we were
10 years ago,
yeah.
Yeah, with me, I have to keep it. I have to keep it simple, and sometimes that I used to be a great judge, and I held contempt for everything and everybody, and I learned not to hold contempt prior to investigation in everything and all things, because I can't boast in ignorance. I just can't do it, and the only thing worth boasting about is boasting in the Lord. So in Proverbs, I just have to lean on Him and not me. Because if I'm getting away from Him, then I'm running from His voice, and I can't do that. You know, His flock runs to Him, and if I want to be useful, I want to know. I put a thing on my mirror. It doesn't say what would Jesus do. It says what would you do. And so every day I look at it. So I'm my own bumper sticker. What have I done for the kingdom? You know, and nothing's not a good answer.
Morning.
The more I spread the gospel, the better off I feel about life. And the only way I can do that is people say they don't have to pray on their knees, but I do. Because I used to hold contempt prior to investigation. And if you pray on your knees, you can find your shoes under your bed, because that's where I keep mine.
That's right. That's right. That's the trick. That's the trick. Good trick.
Hey.
Thank you, brother.
Let's see. Did we get this table here in the back? You, Michael.
Well, half our tables over there.
Half your table's over there.
They migrated. Oh, illegal table movement.
What about you, Tanya?
I think I'm doing enough today.
Yeah. Tanya, we appreciate you.
I'm just
She's our social coordinator.
We're on the love boat.
And we're on the love boat.
That's right.
Get that? We're on the love boat.
Do that.
Tanya's the.
You know the song, don't you? You got busted.
All right.
Love boat.
Yeah. So one more. Did somebody on Zoom want to weigh in? Somebody else? No? Okay. All
PD, I would like to just mention, it's Kenichi. I'm sharing a Sayuri's screen. For me, I was sharing with Sayuri when you talked about, I don't know the artist that you had mentioned about, that you were like that, kind of connecting voices and so forth. But for me, I thought about for a long time, I was trying to chase this dream of wanting to be a minister of a local congregation and, being in those kind of things. But now I have just settled down and in the higher ed context have made up my mind to lift up voices of the less privileged and students of color and bring them to the forefront and let administrations know, their plight, their struggles, and how privileged some sectors of, student populations are because as you and I know, as everybody knows, there's a lot of us, a lot of blind spots. And when it comes to resources, circulating money, and all these things. And so that's what I've settled, and I will continue to do that until another chapter goes by. So, and I'm content.
And I just want to thank you for the work that you do, Kenichi. I'm a little bit aware of some of the things that you do, and you rise to the challenges. You meet the challenges. So thank you for being.
You're welcome.
Yeah, for being that.
Much of it's your inspiration. So.
Well, I'm glad that I can be an inspiration. I feel like that I am one of the people that helps represent connecting people and elevating voices so that more people will elevate voices. Yeah, so that's what we do. That's who we are. And we're going to have communion. Folks online can participate. Yeah, being here and excising stuff from the past, as Lance was saying, I gotta tell you, I went to bed kind of restless because of something so innocuous, but it became such a big deal. I changed our mobile carrier, right? Oh my goodness, it's so much work. Getting support, figuring things out, and it basically took the whole day. And so I was like, I was like, this is so unnecessary. Just somebody help me. Anyway, it's still not completely solved, but I do intend to sleep well tonight, one way or another. I will get there. But this is really about being present and not letting events hijack our emotions and our thinking, but just, being here and now. And really, when we have communion, I think about how when Jesus first, the first inaugural, what we call the Last Supper, and then it became, a tradition, there were other, what in retrospect historically would be called religions. They weren't called that then, but there were other cults, practices that were very exclusive, that elevated blood. But the distinction that Jesus gives is that when we talk about blood, what we're talking about is commonality. I mean, the effort in communion is to bring people together from different backgrounds, people who have experienced different kinds of economics, who have lived differently in the world, and to come together and to say, you know what? We're the same blood. We are one community, and we want to underscore that to our community and beyond. And that's really what this is about. So. Jesus makes that sacrifice, and standing up to power, we choose to do the same, as Leslie was talking about earlier. We choose to do the same. We will not be bowled over by a system that wants to control us, enslave us, dominate us. We will not comply.
Right.
We just refuse to comply. I mean, that's why we're here today, is to reinforce one another that we defy dark systems. We defy, even if it costs blood, we refuse to comply with that which will destroy human souls. We refuse to do it.
Not gonna play that game.
Zoom people, we're not playing that game.
playing the eternal life game.
We are not, we're into the life game. We are not into that. We're encouraging one another to defy. Yeah, this is not the defiance of arrogance, unless you call it a holy arrogance. And maybe we need someone